Hello, I'm on the road again, and this video is being recorded from Glacier National Park. I haven't made a video since Fort Bridger, so much has transpired since then. Look at this lake. It is glorious. The morning mist is covering up the tops of the mountains there. Just a great place to be. So when I made my Fort Bridger video, I said I would likely be heading into Idaho. And that's what I did. So after Fort Bridger, I headed north into Idaho, landed in Twin Falls. This Snake River Canyon is just awesome there. I also got to visit the Upside Down Rock in the Twin Falls area. Fabulous geological phenomenon there. And then after Twin Falls, I headed farther north into the Sawtooth Mountain region, into a town called Ketchum. And near Ketchum is a wilderness area within the Sawtooth Mountain range. And I camped there for 4 consecutive nights. In the wilderness, all alone. It was some of the best solitude I've ever experienced. Just love the great outdoors. Love that peace and quiet that I can experience. So that was just real good. Then after Ketchum, I headed farther north to this little town of Stanley in Idaho. So when I got to Stanley, I also received a message from my cousin. My cousin's name is Michael Santullo. He lives in Palo Alto, California. And I had informed him that I'd be in the Western States for a few months back in April. So he sent me a message to ask me where I was because he had time to travel. So I told him I was in Stanley, and in a few days he drove up, and my cousin Michael and I got to spend a great few days together. It was just fabulous. Camping with friends is lots of fun. Meeting new people, lots of fun. Camping with family, it's a whole new ball game. There's so much history, so much family heritage, the childhood stories, the laughter. It just didn't stop. And we had so much in common, and there were so many coincidences in the gear that we used, to the books that we read, to the movies that we liked. It was just a fabulous time. So while we were camping in the wilderness behind the town of Stanley, one night, this old pickup truck comes up to our campsite, and the bed of the truck is full of young people. It's a hayride from the town of Stanley. So we get to meet all these young people in this pickup truck. And it just so happens the woman who's in charge of this hayride, her name is Nancy. Nancy comes from Palo Alto, California. Another coincidence. That's the same town that my cousin Michael comes from. So it was just one of those events where the events and the coincidences, they just kept on coming. So after Stanley, Idaho, traveled through the remainder of that state. Then I went back into Wyoming, to Buffalo, and then to Glacier National Park. And Glacier National Park is the epitome of wilderness, the epitome of the great outdoors. And if you're not careful, you'll take all this for granted. These huge glacier mountains, huge valleys, rivers, lakes. You have to take time to take it all in. It's great here. It's quiet. And it's a wonderful place to be. So after Glacier, I'm going to meander. I may head down south again. But we'll see where the adventure takes me. I'll make another video as soon as I can.